Hello, my fellow comic book collectors. It's Alan, the Comic Collector Geek, and this is actually going to be a preview for the next unboxing series. I might show a few of the items that are inside, but basically I'm just going to give you a bit of a preview of all the stuff. It should be a pretty good unboxing, this next series. There's some pretty cool runs that I kind of picked up, or pieces of runs, I should say. Like Catman and the Saint, a few. There's some pretty cool stuff inside. So the only problem was actually it could have been even cooler. There was a series of books that I was hoping would arrive at my Stackry before I had to ship them out that didn't arrive. All my heritage auctions. I had a whole bunch of really cool heritage auctions that I won. They didn't make the cut, so they didn't make this set of unboxings. So it's only 3 boxes. Normally it's 4, which would be, the 4th would be that Heritage Auctions group, but it's only 3. So I'm going to show you the 3 boxes, and we'll get inside and take a look. So I'm just going to kind of pan down to them so you can see the, see the boxes, how big they are. And I'm going to open them up and, you know, give you a bit of a preview. Normally I do this live, but because of timing, with me on holidays, I can't, I couldn't quite do it, so sorry about that. But I will show you some cool stuff, don't worry. And I hope you enjoy this unboxing anyways. And it should be another cool series. Whenever I buy stuff, it might seem very arbitrary, the things that I buy, but I actually have like sort of like a targets and goals that I'm going for. Like I do have a bunch of series that I'm aiming for, and a certain style of comic that I like. So the things that I generally like are Good Girl, key artists that I like, for example, like Matt Baker or Alex Schomburg. But I also go for key books that just have really cool covers. Like, I mean, Chamber Chills, for example. And one of the books that's in here is a Grail book that is like probably one of the top 3 or top 5, maybe, pre-code horror covers. So that's an example. It's in here somewhere. I have no idea. But here's some books. So you can see there's a bunch of raws. They packed it really, really well from Stackry. Stackry is basically a company that allows me to ship all my comics to one location in the US, because a lot of the US vendors won't send to Canada for whatever reason, and it's very expensive to send to Canada individually. So what they do is they ship it all to Stackry. They collect it there, and then they rebox it for me, and they ship it to Canada. And usually it works out that, you know, per package, normally to ship like a small, like a couple comics, it's like $30. But to ship it, all these comics, which is hundreds of comics, it works out to being about $100 to $200. Sometimes 3 if it's like 4 boxes, but way cheaper is my point. Way cheaper. So I'm actually saving a fortune on shipping by doing this. And you can see, like, you can imagine if I, like, these are all individual orders. If I had sent these, you know, $30 a pop, it just would just be crazy. So yeah, this is a much cheaper way of doing it. Oh, okay. I might actually show you this one book. This is a cool book. I've been kind of looking forward to it. I'm going to show that one once I get everything else out, and I'll show what's ever in this. So there'll be a couple things I will be showing in this video. So let me just get all the stuff out first. There's a lot of packing stuff, packing material. And then one more. This was the smallest box, believe it or not. And look at all the books. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm surprised by how much they could fit into a little box. All right, that was interesting. Okay, that's the first box. And how did I do this? Where did I lose the? Okay, here's the opener. So there we go. So this is the next box. This one's a big box. It was actually massive. I was surprised how big this box was. It's always fun trying to carry these big boxes up 3 flights of stairs to my attic. It's insane. This one seems to be all the slabs. So look, so you can see a bunch of slabs. Some more slabs. Can I tell what it is? Not at all. I can't tell what it is. Some more slabs. So this one is just filled with slabs. So I think they try to organize it. So you can see more slabs. I can tell this is a Catman because I can kind of see through the plastic. I got one of the, in here somewhere is one of the classic Catman covers. It's like it's probably one of L.B. Cole's most famous covers. It's the one with the sort of underwater scene. Classic cover, somewhere in here. Okay, and then we got another slab that was, yeah. Hey, this one actually wasn't too bad. Slabs take up a lot of space, I guess. So it was mostly slabs. It's just a quick one to get out. And yeah, so what was I gonna say? So yeah, so when I do these unboxings, as I was saying earlier, there is like a method to my madness, where it might seem a little bit random, the stuff that I pick up, but really I have sort of a taste, and I go for books that are targets of opportunity. A lot of the time, like a lot of these books you just don't see, like really, and all of a sudden when they appear, I'm like, oh, I feel like I have to pick it up because I might not see them again. Okay. So next one has a huge amount of wrapping. Oh my goodness. It's like 2 inches of wrapping. Oh my goodness. You should see this. This is crazy. It's like all this wrapping. Bubble wrap and cardboard and just so much of it. This is like crazy. Wow, that was like 6 inches, this much of wrapping in the box. Kind of a very empty box in a way. Okay. See, still more wrapping. Oh, I'm just getting through all the wrapping. Okay. Okay, actually I might keep that. That's kind of semi-useful. So some little books. No idea what those are. Okay. This one I will show as well. So if you can see, looks like Mad. This is not my comic. So my friend Matt and another friend of mine, Pockets Full of Comics, he had a contest. And my friend Matt won the contest. But Matt being in Ontario, as well as like he's in the same location as me, basically Pockets Full of Comics sent it to my Stackry so that I could hand deliver it to Matt. So this book is for Matt. So I'll show that one. And I'll put it over here so I can show it in a second. It's a pretty cool book, and it's a major key, actually. I don't think Pockets Full realized how big of a book it was that he was giving away, because definitely a big book. Oh, okay, this is a big clump of raw books. Can't even get it out. Ouch. Look at all this massive clump of raw books. Okay. And one more big clump of raw books, and then I'm done. So a big clump of raw books. Okay. There. Finally. Okay. So I finished all those. I'm going to show you a few of the books and things that were inside some of these packages, starting with whatever this is. I have no idea what this is. We'll find out together, because it is not, it's not something I was expecting. So let's see. Could be a gift. It could be, I don't know. I have no idea what it is. So we'll find out. It is well wrapped, I can tell you that much. Oh, it looks like a mug. I know what this is. Okay, so I think I mentioned this in a previous video, that one of the places where I buy a lot of comics is on Instagram claim sales. And one of the guys that does the Instagram claim sale, he has this thing where whenever you buy a comic, you might get a mug or a shot glass or something, some little gift. Well, this is one of his little gifts. So I did buy some stuff from him. And this is the gift. Oh, and he also has like his name is Code Blue. He has like a little casino chip. #1 source here. #1 source for Senate books. So he's actually a very interesting guy. He collects Golden Age as well. But his focus, like I focused on like SOTI books, which are like Seduction of the Innocent. He really focused on the Senate books. So what happened was when Frederick Wortham wrote the Seduction of the Innocent, basically there was a Senate hearing right after. Like people were freaked out about it. They had a Senate hearing, and basically during the Senate hearing they had like a wall, like a big poster of all the books that were kind of demonstrating the evils of comics. And you could see all these covers of the comics that they had outlined as being ones that were really detrimental and were causing the delinquency of the youth in America. So that was the whole thing. This was a poster that had been done, and he actually got the rights to that photo of one of the, I think it's K-Faber or one of those guys pointing to all these comics, and you can see all the covers. So he made it a thing to do like he not only got the rights to that photo, but he actually made like a new version of that photo with himself showing the books. So he got all the books in his collection that represented the ones that were in the photo, and he had himself pretending to be the one from the Senate. So that was kind of a big thing. Getting all the books from the Senate hearings is actually quite challenging. There's only a few collectors that have managed to do it, and he is one of them. And now he's in the process of either upgrading or selling some of the ones from that collection. So that's one of his claims to fame. And his name is Code Blue, as I was saying, and he does auctions every Saturdays, pretty much. And you can see, I'm not sure if you can read that, but so he has like a little chip and a glass. So it's kind of fun. I'll put those into the collection. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to show you from this preview unboxing, I'm showing you a few things, so I try to make it interesting, is I actually do a book club. And so sometimes you probably wonder, why is he buying these crappy books? It's like some of the books that I buy are a little bit sketchy in terms of like the stories and whatever. But there are sometimes ones that I've read in the book club, and I just like to have the physical copies of the books that I've read in my book club. And when I was doing the book club one time, another channel was doing their book club, and they're a friend of mine. They're a friend channel, I guess would be the way to say it. And they did a much better they did a much better book. And I was watching their video, and it was really quite good. And it really got me engaged in wanting to pick up the book that they were talking about. And it is this book. And it's a big, thick book. Oh my goodness, really heavy. And it's this one. My favorite things my favorite thing is monsters. And it was this woman who basically, almost like a diary. I might be misrepresenting it, but it has that sort of diary feel to it, where she basically, it's Karen Rays, and she basically did this kind of diary style graphic novel, basically. And just beautiful artwork, right? Just all the way through. It's quite long. I'm gonna try to read it as much as I can. I'm just gonna try to show you a little bit of the artwork inside. And they were talking about this book and talking about how this probably took years to make. It just really intrigued me. Oh, this kind of reminds me of some doodles I used to do as a kid. I used to do these kind of same doodles. Just really interesting stuff. So it's like different stories and stuff inside, I guess. It's kind of like a diary, I would say. And just really interesting. So yeah, so my favorite thing is monsters. I'll show you the back as well. So just a big, thick book. I thought it was interesting, so I picked up a copy. And I was very curious about it. So I'll probably actually read this one. Instead of reading it online, I'll actually read the book itself. But it really, really interesting one. Okay, and the last thing I have to show is Matt's prize. So I'm just going to take it out. Okay. And Matt, this is your comic. It's Mad number 4. This is actually a key book. Not only is it an early Mad, so when Mad first started, we always think of Mad magazine, and that's kind of the way we think about Mad. But really, Mad was a comic when it first started. And what happened was, back to the Senate hearings, William Gaines basically was questioned about some of the books that were being published from EC Comics. And he didn't answer very well, to say it lightly. And especially in reference to Suspense 22. That was the book that really caused the end of the Golden Age. Because when he kind of played down how graphic of a cover it was, it's the one where it's the very classic cover where the girl's being held by her head, and you see the guy with an axe in the other hand. So just a very graphic cover. He played it down. He said it could have been worse, but immediately the next day, all the newspapers ran with that story saying how wicked and evil, and how this had such a, obviously this is destroying the youth of America. And they had to quickly, pivot the comic book industry, that is, to do something about it. Do something to really reassure parents that the comics were not the enemy, and that they were sincerely going to do something about it, and make sure that comics would not harm any children. So they came out with the Comics Code Authority. Well, back to Mad. The Comics Code Authority basically prevented comics from doing a lot of things. Like, they really made it very... the rules were very stringent. And what happened was, though William Gaines was one of the people that was involved with the creation of the Comic Code Authority, he did not participate as much as he should have. And what he did was he really let Marvel and DC and some of the other publishers take the reins and create the rules. Well, when they created the rules, they saw it as an opportunity to really create monopolies for themselves. And the very books that they saw as direct competition, they made sure that those were the ones that would be affected the most by the Comic Code Authority. So, for example, you couldn't use the words weird, eerie, other words like that in the titles. Well, those were basically some of the biggest titles for EC Comics. So what ended up happening was EC had a choice to make. It could either, follow the rules and basically give up majority of its titles, or switch into producing magazines, because magazines didn't have to follow the guidelines of the Comic Code Authority, because magazines were distributed through the magazines, like it was through the newsstands, through the magazine stands, and they were considered for adults. So Mad went from being a comic to being a magazine, and that's kind of the story of that. But this was one of the early Mad comics where it was a comic. And it also features the artwork of Harvey Kurtzman, which he's a very famous artist. And it was the very first appearance of Super Duper Man, one of the characters that was sort of popular within Mad magazine. The early Mad comics had these really great Good Girl art covers. And actually, when somebody saw this, they were saying, oh, they thought it was the first appearance of Spy versus Spy. Because this little guy down here kind of has that, Spy versus Spy element to it. Maybe it was an inspiration for Spy versus Spy, but this is not the first appearance of Spy versus Spy. But very cool, all the little traps and stuff. Very, actually, when they said that, I immediately said, yeah, it really does remind me of Spy versus Spy. Because it's all these things where this woman is like in major peril, yet is just walking obliviously to it. Kill me, don't be absurd. What makes you think anyone wants to kill me? It's like the truck's running at her. There's a bomb. There's multiple bombs. There's like a manhole being opened with like spikes coming out of it. There's a gun up top here. There's a cannon, a spear, snake. It's funny. So definitely a cool book. Mad was an awesome publisher. Awesome title. I love Mad. I'm a big collector of Mad magazines. I made sure to have the first almost 20 issues of Mad. And then I have pretty much all the Mad from the late 70s all the way up to early 2000s. I was pretty big into collecting Mad. So just a fun book. I hope Matt enjoys it. It was, congrats to him winning the contest. The way that the contest worked was really silly. Pockets full of comics. Basically, he hit his threshold for when he was doing his giveaway. And he said, whoever comments first on this video gets the prize. Well, Matt commented first. He got the prize. So that was the way he did it. Not a very normal way of doing contests, but I thought it was interesting. So I hope you enjoyed this preview unboxing. I showed a few things. I hope you enjoyed those as well, and a little bit of the history there. Stay tuned for the new year, where I'll be showing this next unboxing series. It should be a good one. Thanks again for watching. Bye for now.